Are we on? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? I'm McKinley Crain here, and today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of the 2019 an ongoing horror show, Creepshow. But I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of season 1. So let's get into it. So since Creepshow season 2 just ended, and yes, I have seen Creepshow season 2. I decided that I should review both of the seasons, and the two TV specials that weren't part of any of the seasons, but were still episodes. Anyway, so Creepshow is a TV show that is based on the 1980s anthology horror movies that are the Creepshow movies, like Creepshow, Creepshow 2, and Creepshow 3. And yeah, so they turned those movies into like a TV show like 2 years ago, and they turned it into like an anthology horror show. They're usually 2 segments per episode. Sometimes the whole episode is just its own segment, but most of the time it's 2 segments. And it's great. It's perfection. This show is perfection. I've loved both seasons so far. I've loved season 1 this season a little more. And I just love Creepshow. It's one of the best horror shows ever. It's got great acting, it's got great visuals, it's very thrilling and very suspenseful. It's got psychological horror in a lot of its episodes. It's got visual horror in a lot of its episodes. And it's got, some just very unique and just strange, examples of weirdness that it uses for a lot of its plot lines. And all of those work. They all work. It's just great. This show is just great. It's perfect. It's perfection. It's awesome. It's just great, and it's very thrilling and just very awesome. And I love this show. It's just very, very awesome, and I love the whole kind of comic booky theme this show has. It's just great, and I love the way that this show does its horror. It's just great, and it's exciting and gripping and just awesome and unique and just awesome. In my opinion, the best episode of this season is also my favorite episode of this whole entire series, which is season 1, episode 1, which have the 2 best segments of not only this season in them, but of this whole entire series. My favorite being the second segment of the episode, which I can't remember what it's called, but it's about a dollhouse with possessed toys or whatever, and that one is just it's one of the best horror segments I've ever seen, and so is the other segment on in the episode. And, so are all the other episodes of this show, and so are all the other episodes of this season. They're all some of the best horror segments I've ever seen. But my two favorite horror segments are the two that are in Season 1, Episode 1, which is my favorite episode. They just do it better than the other episodes do. And do it. Like, every episode of the show is perfect. Every episode of this season is perfect. But the most perfect has to be Season 1, Episode 1. It's what got me into the series. It's what, it's my, it's just, when somebody mentions, like, how good Creepshow is, that's what always comes to mind first. That episode. And those two segments. This whole season is just awesome. It can be very psychological. It can just be really like, and then at other times it won't be like, it isn't very deep, but like, it's still fun and enjoyable and gripping. This show is just awesome. If you love Tales from the Crypt, then you'll probably like Creepshow. If you love the Creepshow movies, you'll probably like this show. If you're a horror fan, you'll probably like this show too. And anyway, I'm gonna give this season, which is Season 1 of Creepshow, a 100% out of a 100%, which is the equivalent of an A+. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I gotta say it a third time. Join the notification squad. Yeah, hopefully that time you heard me. I will return.